It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. Memorial Day is a day in the United States that we have set aside to celebrate our veterans and celebrate all those who served in the armed forces, and we certainly do appreciate them. In fact, every year in November, we try to do a nice class where we invite folks from the military from all branches to attend at no charge, and we have sponsors who come in and help us make that possible. We also have throughout the year lots of engagement and lots of exciting opportunities where we're able to offer scholarships for a portion of the tuition price to a veteran at any time. So we're always able to extend some military discount. But today, for Memorial Day, I thought it'd be fun to share a few stories of appreciation and share a few uplifting stories about veterans that I found. And we're just going to call it my top few stories, maybe my top three stories about veterans that I could come up with that are Memorial Day related. So the first one talks about a dream wedding after a nightmare injury. And it says in 2010, Marine Corporal Juan Dominguez stepped on an IED while serving in Afghanistan. Dominguez was left a triple amputee, losing both legs and one arm. But that did not stop him from marrying the love of his life, Alexis. To honor the vet, the town of Temecula, California donated all the elements of their dream wedding, an estimated $30,000 worth of stuff, including the flowers, the venue, the photographer, and the food. But the real icing on a proverbial cake, Dominguez was able to walk down the aisle with his beautiful bride in a sunset ceremony on April 27th. Did I ever think I was going to get to this point, Dominguez said? Yes, I did, because nothing's changed. I'm a little bit shorter. I lost a couple of legs and an arm, but my brain's still there. My heart's still there. And there's a great story you can read online about this and with a video, and it's definitely a tearjerker. But this man is just a wonderful example of what it means to serve and to do everything you can to help uplift and help others have the freedoms that we have. The next one's called an anonymous surprise. After stopping in a Dunkin' Donuts this past March, Samantha Brown returned to her car to find an envelope left under her windshield wipers. Inside, she found two $20 bills and a note that read, I noticed a sticker on the back of your car. Take your hero out to dinner when he comes home. Thank you both for serving. Him deployed and you waiting. United States veteran. God bless. The sticker on the back of her car read, half of my heart is in Afghanistan. The heart is her boyfriend, Albert John DeSimone, who is serving abroad in the Army. Ford, who lives outside of Boston, went home and posted a photo of the anonymous gift on Facebook. And it was too early to call her boyfriend. Above the photo, she said, there are no words to describe how I'm feeling right now. Tears in my eyes, I just wished I could thank whoever did this. God bless our troops and all those who stand behind them. This picture instantly went viral, racking up more than 1.2 million likes and 142,000 shares. When Ford was finally able to tell DeSimone the touching story, he said, it's people like this who make him proud to be an American soldier. I'm going to try to get through one more. The disabled veteran who learned to walk again. Arthur Borman was a paratrooper in the first Gulf War. His service was quite difficult on his body, and he eventually lost much of the use of his back and knees, forced to rely on wheelchairs and canes. Doctors told him that he would never walk without crutches again. Depressed and immobile, Borman gained a lot of weight. Desperate, Borman contacted yoga teachers for fitness help. Most took one look at him and said it wasn't possible. But a wrestler turned yogi diamond, Dallas Page, accepted Borman's condition as a challenge and really believed the 47-year-old veteran. In the video that recounts Borman's struggle, you can see the portly vet struggle to walk even with the help of canes. You see him attempt and fail at balancing a yoga move. You see him fall again and again, sometimes even flat on his face. And you see him get back on that yoga mat. Over time, Borman sheds pounds, gains strength and flexibility, and eventually the ability to not only walk without help, but also to run. His long hair blowing freely behind him down the road. Never, ever underestimate what you can accomplish when you believe in yourself. Reads the script on the videos close. These are the types of things that drive us to love our veterans. I'll do one more. The homeless veteran hero. He's known as Staff Sergeant Royal on his account of 10 years in the Army. And it was in the battlefield training that helped the homeless Seattle veteran save a friend's life one summer night last year. Royal was just a few blocks away when an argument escalated outside a bar, and an unidentified man shot the homeless man he was fighting with. The victim ran down the street before collapsing. Royal quickly came to his aid. The bullet had struck the man's femoral artery, a large artery in the thigh that, when ruptured, can cause victims to bleed out. Royal used a belt as a tourniquet to stop the bleeding. The man was transported to a nearby hospital and was said to be in stable condition. Royal attributed his knowledge to his medical training at Fort Carson in Colorado. "I'm just glad I was there to save a life," he said. All right, one more. An unlikely friendship. They were quite the pair. She's a beautiful young girl with a bright white smile. He's a homeless veteran with a scraggly beard and a weathered face. The friendship started out slow. The girl, who remained unidentified, began saying hi to Tony as she traveled to and from her workplace. Soon enough, they were having small conversations and regular talks and periodic lunches. "Tony tells me about his war stories, loved ones who should win the Super Bowl," she wrote. And I tell Tony about my problems, loved ones, and how I really don't care who should win the Super Bowl. From an outsider's point of view, it seemed the young girl was offering the old lonely man an ear, but the friendship was reciprocal. Recently, the girl went through a difficult period emotionally, and Tony reportedly helped her navigate those personal choices. One day, when she was walking around feeling sorry for herself, when she felt a tap on her shoulder, she turned to find Tony giving her a concerned look. He had something for her, he said. From his army jacket pocket, he pulled out a watch head. "Tony takes my hand and gently places the broken antique in my palm. He went on to say, 'I don't have much, but I wanted you to know that you have done what many others simply could not do. Just be my friend.'" The girl said she realized when you extend yourself to those in need, you get back not only what you give, but infinitely more, she wrote. I have one last story to tell. And I was debating whether I was going to tell this one because it's rather personal. I may not say names because it strikes me too hard. I was at a conference in Orlando many years ago, and I had a dear friend who was a military veteran, and he was at the conference with me, and we decided that the conference food was terrible, that we were going to go off-site for lunch. And we're walking off-site, we're walking over an overpass, and there was a veteran there, and he was near or the underside of the overpass, and he was dying. I don't know when the last time he ate was, or when the last time he had food was, or when the last time he had any interaction was, but the smell of death was definitely there. This guy was not far from being dead. The only reason we knew that he was a veteran was because of the military tattoos that he had on his arm and shoulder that my buddy quickly recognized. He quickly navigated his way under the bridge to meet this man and asked him, "What's going on, soldier?" And tried so hard to have a conversation with him. And the man said, "Just leave me alone and let me die." And my friend turned to him and said, "That's not the way this story ends. I'm not going to do that." He says, "I'm a military man too. I'm a Marine, and no soldier should be left behind." After a few moments, the soldier's grief turned to tears. And we put our heads together to figure, what could we do to help? What could we do to make a difference in this man's life? And we did. We wound up using points that we had accrued through our travels as contractors and as employees to get this guy a hotel for a while. And when we went into the hotel to talk to the manager about what we were trying to do, the manager himself, who was a military vet, said that he would double whatever value we gave him points to make sure this guy had enough to get on his feet. When we asked him what happened and how he got in his position, the guy told us that he was married with kids and life was good. He had just gotten back from overseas serving, and he was working in a warehouse, and he had an accident where he fell from a pallet lift, and injured his back, and that there was no way that they were going to be able to get him to see a doctor that could help him. So they prescribed OxyContin, and he begged them not to, but they did. And he became addicted to this drug to the point where he sold everything that he had, including precious things like his wife's wedding ring and different things, to get this stupid drug to get more of it. And it was only until he can make the pain go away by seeing a doctor. Needless to say, in the case of the VA, the wait was long, and he didn't get to see the doctor right away. He lost everything. He lost everything that he cared about. He was out on the street with nothing to his name. We got him in that hotel room, and we quickly went to the store to get him food. And when we walked into the store, there was a sign in the window that said, "Now hiring baggers." At which point, my friend went and talked to the manager of the store, who also happened to be a veteran. I asked him if we would consider hiring this guy, if we could get him cleaned up. Not only did he help us get him cleaned up, but he said, I'm willing to hire this guy and give him a chance, and let's see what we can do. And this guy, we got him all cleaned up. We got him a place to get a haircut and a shave, and we got him bathed up, got him food, and got him feeling better. The only thing we couldn't do is get him to a doctor, but we did every single thing else that we could. And he started working at this grocery store for a small amount of money, and he still felt like he was somebody because he was contributing and doing something. And the best part of the story comes next. And the worst. He realized that he was getting stronger, and many of the other baggers would help people out with their groceries. So there's a young lady who would go in all the time with her small kids, and finally he asked one day, "Can I help you take your groceries out?" And she said, "Yeah." So he went outside with her, excited, started helping her put bags in the back of the car. And he noticed that she had a veteran sticker on the back of her car. And he inquired about it. And she told him that her husband had just passed away less than a month before in combat. At this point, he was so upset and scared that he was going to lose his job, that he had just opened up a freshly healed wound, and he was so apologetic and so sorry. The woman's like, "No, it's okay." She says it's nice to have someone else who's a veteran to be able to talk to about these things. And she asked if he would join her for coffee. He did join her for the coffee that day, then a couple of days a week. And then she asked him why he was living in a hotel and invited him to live in their home. It wasn't too long after that they had planned a date for their wedding. And he was so excited trying to get in touch with us to let us know about this wedding. What he didn't realize is the friend that I told you about, my friend, had passed away from a brain aneurysm. Just a freak accident. And he wanted him to stand in as best man at his wedding. And it didn't happen. He was gone. There was nothing more I wanted than for him to have that moment, to see the impact that he made on this man's life. He got to the doctor, he got well, he got off of drugs. But it took the hands of many to uplift the one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Memorial Day is about. Whether it's remembering veterans, whether it's remembering people who are close to you, whether it's telling heartwarming stories about days gone by, Memorial Day is intended to give us an opportunity to reflect on the impact that people have had in our lives. My hope, my wish, my dream is that in some way I can have an impact on you. Whether it's through this podcast or through one of my classes, I love leaving that impact that changes your life and helps you be a greater person. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, don't ever hesitate to ask. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.